What's up, it's your boy Daquan. So I just wanted to show you the last few rounds of the Mayhem 3 True Vault Hunter Mode Slaughter Shaft. I have the rest of the rounds and all the other rounds put together in like a clean run inside of another video that I'll go ahead and have inside the description below. That way, if you guys want to see that full thing, you can go ahead and watch all that. So I just want to show like a quick update for the build so that we can see what it looks like at basically full power. We do not have crazy anointments, and anything that is kind of unique and will take a little bit of farming to get in terms of like RNG, I'll go and give you like a good alternative to it. So in the video and inside the run in general, we only use these 3 guns. So this is basically interchangeable with any good gun that has Gamma Burst on it. Get a good gun, get Gamma Burst, you're good to go. You can run this bad boy. The Hive, you're actually going to be able to get this from a rare spawn. This actually drops from Princess, let me check her name real quick, Tarantella? Yeah. This drops off of Princess Tarantella II. Now, you can find her in the Splinterlands. She's a rare spawn. You should be able to find a pretty good video on YouTube that allows you to see her general spot. It's relatively fast to farm if you're lucky, because she does randomly spawn. So it's iffy. It's honestly iffy. First time I fought her, I was able to get the Hive. I did not realize how good it was on other people because I'm playing Grid Flak. I'm never going to use the Hive. I don't need this. And I threw it away because I did have inventory space, so I had to farm it up. And I think it took probably like 20-30 minutes. There was one guy that said he looked for 4 hours and still didn't find it. So hey, RNG as well. But I was farming it on True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 3. Also had the luck legendary artifact on, so I was able to find it relatively quickly. But yeah, these are the 3 guns that you're going to be using. Of course, you're going to have a Flacker. Now you can use whatever Flacker that you want depending on what element works out the best for the role. You can have a radiation one, will work pretty decently inside the setup. And even a corrosive one would probably do pretty decent. So these were the 3 guns that we used. This one never got to. This one's just wild and it's not really part of the build at all. The 4th slot is just open to whatever you want to actually use. I didn't use this at all. I actually haven't used this in combat. It's just a wild roll because you end up throwing it. You have to shoot once and then you throw it. And then it goes off into a whole bunch of different grenades. So this is kind of like a thing that you can use after your Gamma Burst like dissipates, and you can just throw it and do a whole bunch of damage inside that short amount of time. But I didn't use that at all inside the run, so this is completely irrelevant. This is still the same shield. This is the one that you get from Athena's by doing the Holy Spirit optional portion of that quest. You're able to get this good old shield. Huge value. And then this is actually an upgrade to the previous class mod that I actually had, which was this one. Like I mentioned inside the video before, you don't care about the pet damage at all. So this one puts all those points inside of Eager to Impress instead, which is the cooldown, as well as I'm also getting weapon fire rate, Vlad off weapon fire rate, which I don't know if it's relevant at all to this sub. Both of these are torque. Is this Vlad off? Nope, everything's torque. All right, I'm torquing it out here. The Vlad off weapon fire rate is irrelevant, but the weapon fire rate and the splash damage radius is definitely relevant because we're using the Flacker and using the Hive. And then the Eager to Impress is going to help us get that Gamma Burst up more and more often. I'll show you I did a slight tweak to the skill tree because I ended up getting this good old legendary class mod. So I'll go ahead and proceed. And one thing to pay attention to is make sure that you have your good old game on cooperation. So if you have your game on cooperation, you guys probably already know this, but if you have it on cooperation, you're able to get your stuff out of the good old loot box right here from the lost loot. And that mod, the legendary class mod that I actually just showed you, I didn't see it when I was walking around the map, and I looked at the ground. I looked at everything, and I don't know if it's a bug or if it was like bugged off the map or whatever the case may be. This just randomly popped up. So this popped up, and it was actually perfect and so coincidental. It's literally just popped up in the past few hours of me actually trying to improve the build and playing around with it. So just make sure you have that on. It will allow you to get some stuff that you might not have known was actually inside the good old pile of random trash that you're finding as you're playing through this good old game. But I put that mode on so that way hopefully you can find some good legendaries from that. So this is the reoccurring hex grenade. This is going to be your best slot grenade, not only due to the amount of damage that it does, but due to the freezing. The extra CC is going to help you sustain and stay alive even longer. And it's going to help smooth out these battles and make these things super easy to go ahead and go through. instead of this, if you're not able to get this, get yourself a good ice grenade or even the Whisper and Ice. The Whisper and Ice is going to be a grenade that you get through the main quest line. You probably already have one. If you probably, it's possible that you threw it away, but it is a really good grenade to use when you do not have one of these yet at your disposal. It has ice damage and also has singularity, so it's going to pull the enemies in. Not too many enemies because singularity is kind of in this game, but it's going to pull the enemies in, and that's going to allow for your radiation explosions to hit more than one target a little bit more often. And then this is what we're playing around with. We're playing around with the radiation inside the setup rather than the corrosive inside the setup. So it doesn't seem like it's helping out too much. It all depends on the gun that you have. Now with this gun, it has a 33% chance of doing about 1800 damage, and then you get the damage boost on top of that. So you'll be able to do pretty good damage with guns that have high radiation numbers like the Hive, which you'll be able to go ahead and grab you one of those. So this is going to be the artifact that I'm playing around with, testing out some more over the corrosive one. I like this one quite a bit, mainly due to its synergy with Hive. And then I changed up the tree a little bit, not too much. This is still the exact same situation. And if you guys do find that your pet is dying pretty often and you don't have as much DPS as you want, you can swap the points out of He Bites and put them into Who Rescued Who and see if that works out a little bit better for you. And then I'll show you this tree. So I like to be able to flex around the build and play around with the different options. I did show that I was playing Empathic Rage alongside Atomic Aroma at the beginning inside the other video, but you don't need burst aid for a majority of the game. For 90% of the game, you don't need this at all. You're just bulky enough and you do enough damage to not need burst aid, and you can just run the extra little 20% damage to get you a little bit more clear speed. So inside of the Slaughter Shaft, you do want burst aid. Not only is it going to be able to heal you back up, but as long as you stand beside it, you're also going to be able to heal your pet right back up. And you probably saw inside the video the way it plays out. You're only losing 20% damage for it, so it is super duper good to use. You won't need it for like anything else, to be honest, other than the hardest of the hardest content inside the game, which Slaughter Shaft is supposed to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest content in the game from what I've heard. And then this is a quick switch that I did to this. Since we have 4 points into our class mod, we don't have to put the points into Eager to Impress at all. So I went ahead and put the 5 points in here. I put an additional point in here. Typically this is at 2. This is only 4% more damage boost, so this point could possibly go into Eager to Impress to go in and get us to the next good old gauge. Of course, this is maxed out, and due to this only being a 4% damage increase, like 4% damage is not really that much. These 2 points is going to give us 8%. I'll just put in an HP regeneration. 8% more damage really isn't going to be anything super duper fantastic. I don't really care that much about 8% more damage. This build has more than enough damage inside of it already. We'll just take the chance and see if this HP regeneration gives us any type of value and keeps us alive a little bit longer. We'll play around with this rather than this little 8%. And then we still have the power inside maxed out. So that is the good old skill tree. So that's basically the build. That's the setup and everything. These are the upgrades. If you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And try this out. Let me know how it works for you. This is able to complete the hardest content inside the game comfortably. I do believe that this is working out better than the crit flak right now. I played around with the crit flak inside of Slaughter, and then you end up getting slaughtered quite a bit because you do not have anything to kind of buy block for you. Is this on the same level of Moe's? I wouldn't say so. It's ballpark though. It's definitely ballpark. It doesn't feel, you're not going to clear it as fast as Moe's, but you're going to be able to sustain pretty well. It's in a cool spot. It's in an okay spot. If we do see any buffs, we'll be real nice. We'll look real good. But otherwise, that's the build setup. And your boy's outie.